where we talk about science, math, history, and trains, and do it all with some very fun activities. Hello, I'm Bob Lettenberger, Mr. Bob, Education Director for the National Railroad Museum. If you're watching us on Facebook Live and want to type in a question, well, feel free to do so. We'll answer those right after the segment. If you'd like to type in and just let us know who you are and where you're watching from, we'd love to hear from you. And make sure you like the National Railroad Museum's Facebook page. Well, when we talk or write a letter or an email or speak on the phone or in a video chat, we're using a language, the words that we speak to communicate. We might speak English, Spanish, French, German. Maybe we use sign language. Maybe we're a hobo and use our language symbols. But that is a language that we use to communicate. Now, there's a big word called etymology. That is the study of the meanings and the origins of words. Not etymology, that's bugs and insects. Etymology, where words get their meanings from. And today, here on Mr. Bob's Railroad Workbench, well, we want to explore the meanings of some special words and, well, do a little railroad speak. There's a lot of words that, in our language today, that find their origins in terms that the railroads used. Now, as we're talking here today, I'd hate for our conversation to get sidetracked. Oh, wait a minute, there's a railroad term. You could be traveling down the main line and focused on what we're talking about or where we're going, but if we get sidetracked and wander off in some other direction, we might not get our job done. So there is one idea or one term that started out as a railroad term, but now we use in our everyday language with a different meaning. So let's not get sidetracked. Let's take a look at a few other terms that started out on the railroads that we now use in our everyday language. So we're settled back on a nice warm summer evening watching a baseball game, but we're going to be sitting here for a while because tonight it's a doubleheader. Two teams playing games back to back in the same evening. Well, you know what? A doubleheader you would think would be a baseball term considering how long baseball has been around here in the United States, but actually it's a railroad term meaning two steam locomotives heading up, pulling one train, a doubleheader. You know, in the evening, some of us adults come home and as we head for the lounge chair, we might want to grab our favorite highball and sit down and relax. Yeah, it could be a cocktail, a beverage. But you know what? Highball actually is an old railroad term. The first signals here on the railroads in our country were nothing more than a big red ball on a mast. If the ball was up or high ball, the track was clear, your train could proceed. Low ball, you had to stop. Well, during this early period of railroading here in the United States, the 1820s through even the 1870s, 1880s, many stations had next to them a roadhouse or a tavern. And a lot of times somebody that was going to be catching a train would dash in and ask the bartender to pour them a quick drink because their train was coming and it had a highball. Well, that term got transferred over to mean that quick drink, like the one we saw a little bit earlier. One more term that I think you'll find very interesting. They had a device called, it was very similar to a railroad tie plate here in the United States. In 1910 and 1911, French railway workers went on strike, and one of their ways to slow down trains to make the point of their labor concerns was to cut the sabots away from the track, causing the rails to separate and, of course, derail the trains. Today, that word sabot has been transformed into sabotage. And here you see Amtrak Sunset Limited, which was derailed in the desert of Arizona some 20 years ago by sabotage by somebody dismantling the train tracks. So yes, there are a number of words in our language that find their origins, their etymology, from railroad terms. Now, if you'd like to have a little more fun with learning some of these railroad terms that have come into our language today, visit Our website, nationalrrmuseum.org. Click on the Education tab, head down to the Activity Zone, and there you're going to find a neat little activity where you can see if you can define some of the terms that started on railroads that are now common in our everyday language. Railroad speak. Do you speak the language? You know, the National Railroad Museum inspires lifelong learning by providing dynamic educational opportunities through the preservation of railroad objects, engaging exhibits, and innovative programs. As a nonprofit educational institution, we are supported by both public and private donations and our museum members. If you would like more information on how to support the National Railroad Museum or become a museum member, visit our website, nationalrrmuseum.org. And of course, we thank you so very much for all of your continued support. Hey, I'm Mr. Bob. Thanks for visiting Mr. Bob's Railroad Workbench, and we hope to see you here again real soon.